Welcome to another Hangout on the Pole Position YouTube channel. This week we have got Rob Austin from Exocet Racing, the BTCC driver. Rob, welcome to Pole Position's Hangout.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Now, a seriously successful weekend for you, Rob.
Yeah, it couldn't have gone much better. Qualified P6, come away from two fifth places and a second. Very chat, very chat.
An awesome weekend, which I think is the reason why we've got so many people on our Hangout this week wanting to talk to you. So let's have a quick introduction from everyone. What about you, Joe? Let's go with you first.
Yeah, congratulations on the weekend, Rob. Fantastic result. Didn't see the races because, as I said, I'm away at the moment.
Tell us where you are, Joe.
Congratulations to the whole team. I'm in the Atlantic Ocean, off the coast of West Africa.
All right. What are you doing now?
Unfortunately, no BTCC coverage here.
No, we need to work on that one. But seriously good signal quality, I think.
Yeah, it is for now anyway. We'll see how it goes.
Well, this is the most ritzy joining in from a Hangout we've had so far. So next up, we've got Nicholas.
Yeah, hi.
Hello.
So, my name is Nicolas. I'm 20 years old. I'm from France.
You're from France. That's lovely. Bonjour, bienvenue. Okay, and who else have we got? Let's talk to Matt. What about you?
This one?
Yes, that one. Yeah, give us a
hi.
wave.
Yeah, I'm Matt. I'm what am I? 32, from Hampshire. Just getting back into the BTCC after about 10 years away. So the last couple of seasons.
Well, nice. I'm glad you're getting back into it. Well worth another revisit, I think. I think Rob will agree. And let's have a chat to Liam. Oh, actually, no. Liam's asking us questions. Sorry, Liam's going to be asking questions throughout the Hangout. He's not going to talk to us, but he's going to be asking lots of lovely questions, so we'll make sure we look at those. Robert, what about you? Introduce yourself for us.
Bob, how you doing? Nice to meet you. I saw you last time at Thruxton, I think.
Oh, yes. Very nice. Good to have you on board.
Thanks very much.
Were you there at the weekend?
Sorry, what's that?
Were you there at the weekend at Alton Park?
No, I wasn't there at the weekend. I had a French trip round a football team.
Oh, well, never mind. There is always next time. So let's kick off then. Rob, your second podium, your first of 2014. Pretty exciting stuff for Exocet Racing.
Yeah. We had a tough couple of rounds, so we did know we would be quicker or more competitive.
So Joe's is coming. He's on his way.
It was perhaps more competitive than I actually expected it to be, which is always good. So that's what it's P6. We were pretty chuffed with, and they tried a new layout for the Alton Park circuit this time round.
And how was it? Did it suit you?
The extra loop.
Yeah, but if you want, I can go check these in and I can call him.
Track. However, it did take away the fine overtaking spot. And qualifying, it turns out here, the races were not their usual BTCC style, so a little bit professional.
Okay.
We were able to
I'll tell him this number.
Time and keep moving forward.
Okay.
Someone's talking over you. I'm trying to work out who it is. Is that you, Joe?
Sorry, it's on here, yeah.
Yeah, no worries.
It's a busy rig.
People having a chat. If you just keep it muted, then we can hear all the pearls of wisdom that Rob is no doubt going to be sharing with us.
Sure, I know. I was trying to listen as well.
Sorry.
All right.
So, Rob, did you expect to have such a good result? Did you think the team had got it together for Alton Park?
Yeah, well, like I said, I knew it would be better than our previous two rounds. Donington and Thruxton really are our weak points. We struggled. We knew we'd struggle around those two. Perhaps we struggled more than we thought we would at Donington, but Thruxton especially, we knew we'd struggle. So yeah, we knew we'd be in the top 10. We were pretty happy with 6th. It was a drying circuit, so we just managed to get our lap together at the right time. And yeah, like I say, with that layout of circuit, it was all down to your qualifying where you were. So yeah,
That's awesome. It all came together. It's all good. Okay, so let's kickstart some questions. I'm going to read out Liam Warrender, who's joining us on the Hangout, but only writing questions. So question from him. He says, who was your childhood hero and why, Rob?
It was Win Percy, who's a former touring car champion and a bit of a Le Mans legend. The nicest person in all of motorsport, I think.
Oh, that's always a nice legacy to have. Okay, perfect. What about you, Matt? Let's see if you've got a question for Rob. Matt.
Hi, is that working better now?
That's working perfectly. That's very, very good.
I managed to get overtized at Donington and had a good walk around up and down the pits and everything like that. And I, for one, was really amazed with how much interaction there seems to be between the drivers and the teams and everyone, and got on the grid and talked to Sophie and a couple of mechanics and that. I was wondering, is there kind of some formula that you've got that some of the other teams don't seem to have when it comes to sort of engaging and you know, hanging the fans and that?
A gorgeous pit girl to start with, Sophie. Yes.
Yeah. I wouldn't say there's any specific formula. It's perhaps just the way we run our team. We are still, despite the amazing support from Exocet and Duo and all our other sponsors, we are still on a very, very small budget compared to the big boys. And the way we overcome that and manage to take the fight to the big boys is basically we're all really good friends. We work really closely together, and we all go that extra mile. We're all pulling in the same direction. You know, and I think that's the way we are with each other, and that we all understand that our fans are just amazing. We all know how our fans got us out of trouble several times in the past. So I think we're all just as appreciative. We all share the same philosophy, but it's certainly not it's not a methodical plan, if you like. It happened, you know.
It's a good fun team, I think. What about you, Robert? Have you got a question for Rob?
Yeah, I was just thinking, at Thruxton, what do you think about the high-speed runoff and the cars that were flying up the tyre wall?
It's a bit of a difficult one for me because Sophie Coombs, my grid girl, her dad, Bill Coombs, you know, I used to race against, and he's a good friend, and he's how we met Sophie, obviously, which was a family friend. But he runs Thruxton, and I'm a big supporter of Thruxton. All the runoffs and everything are checked every year by the MSA, and it's the MSA's responsibility to approve them. I must admit, I do think that firewall could have been better built. And sometimes it takes these kind of accidents and these kind of race weekends to, you know, highlight to the authorities that something needs to be done. And I'm sure there's plenty of space there. There's plenty of ways that that can be improved, and I have no doubt that Thruxton Circuit will work very closely with the MSA and make those improvements. And I'm certain they will retain the character of the circuit because it really is a brilliant circuit.
That's what a lot of the drivers are saying, weren't they? That if you made it safer, you're going to lose some of the excitement that Thruxton's all about. Do you agree with that then?
I think they can do it without losing that excitement. There's a few people who have this mentality that motorsport has to be dangerous to be exciting, and when it's too safe and nobody's really lives are at risk or anything, it kind of takes away the excitement. I don't necessarily agree with that, although I can see their point of view, but I'd rather not be risking my life to you know, to put on the show that we do and to enjoy my job as much as I do.
Absolutely, we want you safe at all times. Liam, have you got a question for Rob? Oh no, Liam again. Liam again. I keep on asking Liam, and he's writing all these lovely questions. Sorry, I've got another question. So, at what age did you start racing, and what car did you first race in?
I started racing in karts at 10 years old. Initially, just some indoor karting with my old man. My old man used to race, so I'd sort of grown up around motorsport anyway, and going to race meetings with him. And then we started proper karting, national karting, when I was, I think started when I was 11. I entered my first championship at 12. And then we moved up to cars when I was 16, and I was actually the youngest ever winner of a car race until they changed the rules. Now 14-year-olds can race, so I had that taken away from me.
Oh, that's an awesome record to hold.
A long, long time. First car I ever raced was a Formula 600, which is a little space frame 600cc motorbike engine race car. Really cool, flips and wings.
Awesome, awesome. Now, Joe, can you unmute yourself and we have a little question from you if you've got one for Rob? Woohoo!
Yeah, you touched on briefly earlier about your team and how you get through the year basically. I've got a question on sponsorship. How do you find yourself a major sponsor? How does that come about? Do you just write to companies, or do you have contacts, or what?
With great difficulty, really. To get it going is the hardest thing. We tried very hard beforehand. You need the sponsorship to get the funding, to get the results, to raise your profile, to get the sponsorship. So it's a bit of a cycle, and we had our first sort of proper title sponsor last year, and that helped us get the results we did last year, and therefore we've upped our profile, and this year we've gone up a step again, and we have an even better sponsor now with Exocet. But we're always on the lookout, and the more we do it and the more we're in the championship and everything, we sort of get introduced to people, and it evolves through networking. But there is still an element of, I've got a sponsorship proposal that I've done myself with all our stats and figures in, which seems to be ever changing. It's like as soon as I finish it, it's out of date. But I send that off to various companies as well. But that takes a huge amount of time. For each sponsorship proposal, you have to do a lot of research into the company you're proposing to. You've got to go in with the right angle. You've got to find the right person. You've got to take your time to do the individual presentation.
I suppose it's a bit like applying for a job. You need to tailor your CV to that job, or you need to tailor your application to that company so that you seem, beneficial to them.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
And you've got two cars as well, Rob, to try and find. So with Hunter's car, I suppose it's an added burden trying to find another sponsor to take on him.
I wouldn't say it's a burden. Hunter's very, very good on that sort of thing as well, and that's the big reason I wanted him in the team. I've worked with Hunter since 2008. We ran him for 2 seasons. I was his teammate, in fact, in British G2. And I know he's got a very good business brain, and I know his strong points. And along with being a good driver, that's the other main reason we wanted him in, because of his business acumen and evolving sponsorship. But as for it being a burden, Hunter sorts out a lot of his own, and then different sponsors want different things. Some of them just want to focus on one car, some of them would rather be across both cars. So if one car doesn't finish a race, they've still got a car out there, or there's twice as much chance that car will be in the press. It's all different things. We've got certain sponsors that aren't even interested in being in the car. They just join us for our hospitality. It's a great event, and a lot of companies spend a lot of money in corporate hospitality at rugby and football events and things like that. We give them the opportunity to do it at a motor racing event.
Absolutely, and what a cool event it is. Nicolas, have you got a question for Rob?
Please forgive me. I don't have, as I am in France, much BTCC coverage, so I don't know much about that. But congratulations for your podium, of course.
Of course, of course. That's good, that's good. Don't worry for not having a question. Let's ask another one. Next year at Thruxton, will there be an owners club meeting? That's from Liam.
At Thruxton, we could do. I don't think we did it at Thruxton this year. We're sort of doing them every other race. Hopefully, as we get more and more members and the owners club grows, we'll be able to have them more and more regularly. We don't want to do it too often at the moment. So, you know, they're special events, so we
keep them very bespoke. Absolutely. So I've got a question for you, Rob. Jason Plato's been very vocal recently about the rear-wheel drive cars on the grid. You drive a rear-wheel drive car. Are you worried that perhaps his complaints might turn into something more serious and maybe give you not a disadvantage, but get rid of the advantage that seems to be coming from the rear-wheel drives?
Yeah, it's a really difficult one because back when we were early days of NGTC, of these new rules, the rear-wheel drive cars were heavily disadvantaged. Every time I complained about it, the answer I got was, well, you should have built a front-wheel drive car then. Right, okay, yeah, so it's your car choice, that's fair enough. But we'd already committed to rear-wheel drive, so we had to make that work, and we stuck with it. And when West Surrey Racing came in with the BMWs being rear-wheel drive, they sort of put their foot down and said, we're not building these cars unless. And they're a big, well-established team, and they have a bit more weight to throw around than little old us. So we got a few issues resolved. And now, after a year and a half of developing the cars and a new spec, we're quick. We're it's a rear-wheel drive 1, 2, 3 at Alton. But at the same time, nobody complains when MGs get finish 1, 2 or win 2 races in a weekend. Yes. Nobody complains when Honda win 2 races in a weekend or finish 1, 2. But for some reason, when it's rear-wheel drive, they all kick off, and we are very, very much outnumbered. And as we all know, Jason Plato is very, very vocal, so we're going to have to do something just to appease the front-wheel drive teams because we're outnumbered. But my opinion, racing's been brilliant this year. Why change it?
And you might have to do something to appease Jason Plato, maybe just alone. Oh, we don't want to think about that.
If they do something, don't worry, I'll give them a good ribbing.
Robert, have you got another question for Rob?
Yeah, I was going to say, what about, the Honda Civics? Andrew Jordan's had a long time to drive his Honda Civic. Do you think that gives him more of an unfair advantage with the amount of time he spent racing his car?
I wouldn't say an unfair advantage. It is, front-wheel drives do have an advantage. They've got lots and lots of little advantages all over the place. But the main one they have is, from when their rules were introduced, they have remained consistent throughout. Whereas rear-wheel drive, this championship was initially designed as a front-wheel drive championship. It was a fairly late decision to allow rear-wheel drives in. We jumped at the opportunity because I love rear-wheel drive, and they do have that as an advantage. Andrew Jordan also has the benefit that is a works car. It's a Team Dynamics built car. It's an immense amount of money and development spent on it. Arguably the fastest car on the grid. And it hasn't had to. He's not been having to evolve big things in the same way we have. So it does give him a level of consistency. But we're all trying to pick the right package at the right time. He got it right. He seized the opportunity to buy those cars from Team Dynamics and did a really good job with them. now the rules are coming good for rear-wheel drive. We need to take advantage, but like as we've just discussed, they might put a stop to that.
We've had a question from Liam, Rob. Liam wants to know, he's talking about Sherman, your car. Why did you choose an Audi A4? Why didn't you go for a Honda Estate, for example?
The company we were using to build the cars initially, early on we didn't have the resources to build our own cars, so we had to subcontract that out. Now the cars are very much our own. They've been completely rebuilt bit by bit, and they are 100%, you know, our own built cars. But at first we had to use a subcontract company to build them. They had a couple of connections with a couple of manufacturers, and Audi was one of them. And when it was proposed to us that if we went Audi, we could potentially have the rear-wheel drive option, for me, it was a no-brainer, and we jumped at it because it offered us the value due to their connections with Audi and the rear-wheel drive. Plus, also, we figured, hey, an Audi, that's a bit classier than you know, a little Honda Civic hatchback that my sister drives.
Very true, and it looks slick. We love Sherman. Okay, another question. How about Matt? Have you got a question for Rob?
I have. So after the podiums at the weekend, did the scrutineers find the awesome button? And if not, where is it?
I'm actually going to have to issue another press release about that. My PR guy who writes my press releases for me has misquoted me. There is no such thing as an awesome button. I don't know where he's got that from, and I can only apologise for the misinformation. It is actually a mechanical lever that you have to engage manually, and it's got settings from 0 to 11. So yes, I do, and it's not pushed or anything like that. It's either engaged or deployed. So no, so far scrutineers haven't found my awesomeness lever.
Please let us know when the scrutineers find your lever. I'm sure everyone will want to know that. Very good question. What about, Joe, have you got another question from the oil rig in the middle of the Atlantic?
Yes, hello again. When you were on the film set of Rush, congratulations on that, by the way, did you manage to get any nice pictures of the stars with yourself, or any nice freebies, shall we say?
Well, they sort of become your mates very quickly, and you know, I sound silly. I know frickin' Chris Hemsworth, but you're sort of doing the same job. So, sorry.
Don't do yourself down, Rob.
Yeah, but sort of doing the same job, so it's a bit embarrassing to ask for an autograph. From I don't know. Yeah, I didn't do that, but they're both Chris and Daniel Bruhl, really, really nice guys, proper down to earth, and got on really well with them.
Just for our fans who don't know what you were doing with Rush, just briefly outline what you were doing for the film.
Well, we did quite a lot for the film. We initially got involved because we run a 30s TS19. When Nicky Lauda had his big fiery crash in '76, the car comes around the corner, nowhere to go, and hits him again while he's on fire. That car we own and we look after. They wanted to use it for some trial filming, so we went along. We took it along with us, and that sort of gave us the opportunity to, well, gave me the opportunity to absolutely pester and hound Ron Howard to give me a part, which he very kindly did. So I played Brett Lunger, who drove that car back in the day. But also allowed the opportunity to tender for the contract to build the replicas. We wanted to build the Ferrari replicas. So we built 3 Ferrari replicas with, I think, 6 sets of bodywork. We also built a single-seater race car, camera car, so to keep up with the Formula 1 cars and the replicas and so on. And then we were on set. Anytime there's any motorsport involved, we had to be on set to run the cars, look after the cars, and additionally, I did some acting.
So you basically deserve an Oscar, Rob.
There was a rumour that I may have been up for one, but I did start that rumour. So.
Oh dear. Another press release.
I did manage to pause the DVD right at the exact moment I saw you, which was very brief. Well done.
I am in it a few times. You've got to look for me. It's like playing Where's Wally.
Yeah.
I'm in it quite a few times.
I've got a question off the back of
as well, so I'm actually in the credits 3 times.
Oh yes, you've got to be in the credits. That's the all-important part. Otherwise, no one will believe you at all. I've got another question for you, Rob, off the back of that. The fact that you do a lot of the tinkering and you can build cars and stuff. How important is that as a driver to know what you're really talking about when you lift the bonnet up and look into the engine?
I think all drivers have got to have a basic understanding of what's going on. I mean, for me, I did my work experience at Team Dynamics when I was 15, 16. My dad tried to start a racing team. I worked for them. It was a GT car they were running. I worked for them for a bit. I learned to fabricate. I can weld. I can machine. And engineering-wise, I learned a lot through driving and working with some I'm very fortunate to work with some very clever engineers. And then I went into do some driver tuition as well. So I was working with the engineer. Certain things understeer, oversteer that the driver will complain about, which he's actually causing himself and probably doesn't realise, or quite often doesn't realise. So I learned a lot of setup work from there, and yeah, I do think every driver should have a good understanding, but I think I'm more involved than than any other on the grid. You know, I'm in the workshop determining the shape of the ducting that we're going to use for the next generation, you know, our next generation cooling pack. I'm then on the phone dealing with you know, ADR who do our radiators about what core we're going to use for a radiator, and then I'm talking to our damper guy who's building up our dampers, and you know, sending him damper graphs of, you know, how we want our dampers to work and what velocity and all this sort of stuff. It's quite cool knowing every little detail, but tell you what, it melts your brain sometimes.
No, that's awesome. Also, obviously you're incredibly established now with BTCC, but with the talk of new teams coming into Formula One, does it tempt you at all to want to maybe shift focus, or are you too far down the line now?
Formula One is like a whole different world. It's a whole different budget. Yeah, it's not something we're in any position to consider. We're still trying to build ourselves up and get ourselves financially stable and everything in the British Touring Car Championship. You know, I've been racing for over 20 years, and I've done a lot of different championships. I've done a lot of single-seaters, historic stuff, GTs, international, national, all sorts of different stuff. And you know, I've finally come into the British Touring Car Championship, and I was never meant to drive. The idea was we were doing it as a business and as a team, and I was supposed to be running that team. I was never supposed to be driving. But due to circumstances, when we first entered, we were left with no driver, and I had to put somebody in it. And I'm actually the only racing driver I trust, because normally they're a bunch of idiots. So, you know, the idea was I'd do a few races to develop the car and get it promoted so that we could get somebody else in. And I just started, the people started to follow us, and we started to get a bit more known, and you know, really got into the racing. The racing is just so much fun and started to love the cars and the championship, and I was just hooked. And this championship, I feel I found my home in motorsport. It suits me. Love it.
It's melting my heart, Rob. Someone else who's going to melt your heart is Liam's Nan has written in. They're obviously watching together. Liam's Nan says, how did you feel to come second on the weekend? That's probably a good final question for the hangout. Sum it up.
Oh, it's amazing. The fan support we have, you know, is just, that's what makes it. And you get on the podium, you're like, right, cool, got some points in the bag, that's great, and you're sort of focused on, you're so focused on what you're doing in the next race that you sort of sometimes forget to enjoy it, and then when you called on the podium, and literally it was Rob Collard, yay, Colin Turkington, yay, and then I got it, and my name was called, and it was just several thousand people there, you know, beneath the podium, and they just erupt. It's just amazing applause and cheers and thing. And it's just a big reminder of, wow, yeah, this is why I'm doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing. And it feels really good to give something, you know, you feel like you're giving something back, not only to the fans who have supported us, you're giving them a result, something to cheer for, you know, that's why they go, that's why they come racing, that's why they support us, they want us to do well. And not only that, it's my boys who, you know, I treat them like my kids. I work them so hard though, and they work every hour God sends. I may not be the best manager, but for some reason those guys, if I needed them to, they would work weeks without sleep. They will just work themselves to the bone to get the job done and to get us to the circuit. And they deserve so much credit because we couldn't do it without them. Each one of them is doing the job of 3 people. So yeah, it sort of reminds you why you're doing it, and yeah, it's a very cool reminder, and it reminds you why you love it. After a couple of tough weekends, it's nice.
Absolutely.
Relief as well, yeah. Because we've
Celebration.
got sponsors as well, so it's nice to do them.
So looking ahead to Croft, a strong circuit for you. Can we see you on the podium again?
I've been on that podium before, yes. I think it's a very good chance. Croft is the one circuit that really, really benefits rear-wheel drive. So, you know, the timing of Alton Park was kind of bad for the rear-wheel drive, front-wheel drive debate, because we're going to see rear-wheel drive cars at the front again here, and it's just going to give them some more momentum on their argument. But hey, it's good for us that we should be up there fighting, as long as they don't peg us back too far. I can very much see a podium or two. It's
or 3.
Colin Turkington, he's going to be the man to beat.
We hope you're going to beat him. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Rob, thank you very much, star of the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And if you want to watch it back, it'll be on the Pole Position channel. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see even more videos with us and Rob. Thank you so much. Hello, Rob. Hello, Rob.
Cheers. Sorry, before you go, the reason I have to go now is because I'm off to do my radio show that we sponsor, which is Tin Top Tuesday. And you can tune in and listen to that, and there'll be loads of racing drivers from the weekend being interviewed. And you can go to tune in, get the TuneIn radio app and search for RS 24/7 and listen to us on there.
RS 24/7, right? Get on there, everybody.
No problem.
Rob Austin loving.
Cheers, Rob. See you at Snowden.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.
Cheers, man.
Bye.
See you later.